Good evening, good evening. Welcome to the live Facebook, which is the first of our live Wednesday night talk where we talk about stock market. And this would be the first talk for 2024. And I hope that many of you who would have joined me over the time back in 2023, 2022, thank you for your support. Again, this live Facebook wouldn't be a success, or at least from where I'm talking of, without the so-called audience as well as the member who is with us tonight. If you are a regular member, please say hello and text in your name, so at least I know I have a friend among the crowd here. And of course, tonight it's something that very close in my heart, because this is something that I want to talk about at the first week of 2024, at least to make claims of some of the so-called prediction and how I see the market and what I feel would like. Of course, some of these you can take it with your pinch of salt, but some of the ideas that we talk about in here may also bring you a little bit of profit for 2024. Thank you, James. Thank you, James, again. Those of you who are listening, feel free to pencil in there. At least I know some of you are the support that I usually get in here. And let's get on for tonight. Now tonight a talk is a continuation from the last week of December 2023, which I've talked about what to expect in year 2024. Now many of you may have known why am I talking about it again, but this is again part 2, which is there are many things I want to get straight into. At least it will be a more conclusive live Facebook. For those of you who's watching, you use this as a guide paired together with the part 1. Now this is the part 2, which is more like a continuing advice or some things that I see that makes sense for 2024. These are the information coming from, and you can use this to your benefit. Thank you, Alvin. Thank you for those of you who are coming in. Happy New Year to everybody, if I've not said that yet. And it's been the very interesting first week of the year where we see the boom in our KLCI market. That's right, the last day, the 29th of December, we did have the market fell off, but today the market was up, I think 6 or 9 points, which is quite positive. And of course, let's go on to something of what I'm sharing from also last week, which is the part 2. Some are looking at the major theme and the forces, what are the sector looks out for, and even look at the opinion of our local or more famous analysts and whether some of these will come true. But I can definitely bet you, generally most of our local economists and analysts are very, very so-called bullish. It is part and parcel of where we are, including myself. I'm also a permanent bear, I have to admit in here. But my point is that if you cannot cari makan in Malaysia, I will tell you where else you can cari makan. I think that's the whole purpose of this in here. And for those of you who are watching, give me a thumbs up, and I appreciate that, so we can continue to work harder and bring this very good educational material that I talk about every Wednesday night, and not to include on Monday and Friday for our breakfast show and also our summary. Now, of course, the Chinese character is always, marred by this Wei Qi and opportunity and crisis, which I've talked about it many times and times again. And those of you who know would all definitely see the positive side of things in here. And Year of Dragon, and the last time we had that Year of Dragon was 2012. Now we are back in 2024. So remember, 2012 was a positive year for most market, and that is also including Malaysia, which just came out from the Bursa National Win. And 2022, 2023, we do know this is where Najib came in 2023, and as such that we did see a big boom in the stock market. But as history has it, now the ex-prime minister is in a different place than it was before in here. Even big dragon can also fall, as I said before, in here. So do take note. So anything is possible in the stock market, even despite the bullishness that I have for the year of 2024 remain to be seen. But I do think that those of you who have seen some of the facts that are presented over time, the last 5 to 6 years together with the Trade VSA members, I thank you for your support and all these years and how we can prosper together. So first thing first, if you look at the emerging market that I have from my screen in here versus the US market and the Nikkei 225. You can see Nikkei 225 was one of the best performer, and then somehow the big hedge fund finally do realize, hey, there is a lot of value in the Nikkei, and as such that, of course, this was started by Warren Buffett, which I've talked about it also in one of my Wednesday talk, where he went in and invested 5 of the big trading houses, and that's where the market went in going very big. Then we have the of course the S&P 500, okay, which also went up by plus 24% in here. And this is the take that I have for 2024 for our Malaysia market. Now this whole big group here, excluding Shanghai, okay, Shanghai index, this is Indonesia, which is also down. STI is Thailand. No, STI is Singapore. SGX. Philippines, Thailand is down here, okay. This is Thailand, which is down minus 14%. Philippine Stock Exchange is also down 1%, and the FKLI is down close to about 1% in here, 1.3%. So you can see this whole group is grouped under as ASEAN, okay, with the exception of Shanghai. So this group usually is what we call the emerging market, right? So big foreign funds usually look at it. Now remember earlier I said about the undervalue, okay, and Nikkei was undervalued back in 2020, 2023 and 2022, and then it took notice, okay, and they came in big as such that the market started to move up. And in many similar way, the money is going to flow out, right, from this big country that's done very well, with the exception of Nikkei, which has gone up, and they are likely to flow into 2024 of the emerging market. Now, how much is it going to flow into Malaysia? That's as good as my guess is. But I do know that they will be flowing in. Do apologize that my head is blocking this gap here, so I want to make sure I have a bit of room on top here. I'm not going to write it there. So you can see from here is let me just move to the side here, and you can see Thailand, all this, it's probably in the right place. So this is where we are. So the premise is that likelihood we will see foreign funds coming into this market in here. They've tasted the Nikkei 225 right in here. It could be STI Singapore, or it could be the Thailand. Actually, Thailand went down by 14.8%. So with the new Prime Minister back without almost 11 months, I believe, now they are back. So I do think that Thailand will do pretty well. So watch out for Thailand. And I think Malaysia with our Prime Minister Anwar with the new agenda, Madani economy, we will look at it into that also too. That's something I also which is also important in the terms of the context. Now if you look at the market so far for the big major event, the calendar, I think the calendar major event in here, I think we all should pay really notice, is the so-called, is the January 24, the Taiwan election. Now that's all going to be pending as the incumbent president, DPP, Democratic Party, President Chai, okay, it's actually Choi in Cantonese, so that's actually good, in Cantonese, coming to New Year is Chai means fat Choi lah, fat, so President Chai will pass over. If DPP win to President William Lai, that will continue in there, and also means that the major ally that US is supporting is still ongoing, which means we will still continue to see the US en bloc embargo. But if the other parties watch my last Wednesday live FB talk where I talk about a bit about the Taiwan election in here, were to change to a more pro-China, okay, if a change to a more pro-China, then that will beg a different question altogether. You will beg a different question altogether, because then you will see likelihood the synergy will be different. Okay, so we do not know yet. So January 24, depending who wins, if the president Choi with his incumbent, which is actually support aid, was William Lai. I think he was his previous vice president, if I'm not mistaken, and then that will ensure the market continue to be support. And also it's a lot of the Chinese New Year rally, which I do think started for the small. So far, it started for the small cap stock. Okay, you can see that, because why? In the month of December, okay, 2023, our KLCI did not rally at all. And if you do notice, I've talked about this on last Wednesday, sometimes our KLCI is 2 to 3 months lagging. Now, this is also because due to the foreign funds, they finally realized that, hey, there's value to be found in the emerging market. In the example that I talk about Nikkei, okay, the Nikkei 225 in there, they were bullish about it. It took some time, took many years, and then 2023 was the year it moved. So the same thing on the shorter term occurs. So the 2 to 3 months lagging is why explains this Chinese New Year, which is on February, I believe February 10, will continue to rally from then onwards. Then also in the coming April, May, this year will be the interest rate cut, so do keep in mind these are the important dates. So because when you look back into this again, a video sometime back, maybe in May or June 2024, you want to make reference to this information that I've talked about. Then once the rate cut, I do expect a weaker summer seasonality, because that's a part that we sell in May and go away. Usually the months of seasonality like the summer tend to be a bit weaker. The rally month actually will be in the month of March and April. So that's where the interest rate cuts, the anticipation, and that's why we're going to have that rally in the US market in here. So I do think that for our KLCI, the rally will start right now for up to February. Of course, there will be intermittent taking, and also though at the same time, whenever the market goes a bit higher, you will also see the constant doomsayer coming out and telling us, hey, this is a recession year and that's going to have a bad landing in here. So that's something also we need to take note of in here. And this is something which is on and ongoing for many of the times that you've seen before. So I think this is quite important for those of you who are looking into the recession calling by many of these analysts in here, whether it is who's that guy, Robert Kiyosaki or Jeremy Granton. There'll be a few more of this, and also James Dan. All these Americans usually comes out, will tell you all the recession, but they don't have the facts to justify it. The other one is Jim Rogers, been coming out a lot in here. As long as he gets some sort of media attention, he will come out and speak that the market is overrun, and he will ask people to buy commodities. Yes, it is right half of the time, including many of the analysts and also in here. All right, if you enjoy some of the information that I've shared with you, do give us a thumbs up in here. That allows us to actually work harder to give you this information. And then finally is the presidential election, which is on November 5th, 2024. So take note of the information in here. Then usually that is a run up to the November month. So we probably have a quiet pullback in the months of May, and even going back like last year, October 2023, which was the bottoming of the market. And I do think for 2024 will be a very similar. So that's sort of the major event, will set out how the coming months for the US market likely to be. For our Malaysian market, I will also give you a synopsis on what I think, but let's get down to the basic, which is our current Prime Minister X10, the 10th Prime Minister, and of course with his Madami government has a very ambitious goal that we've seen, a very grand goals if you can look at it. This is from a newspaper cutting that I got from the Malaysian Reserve, which actually look at the basic. Currently they want to be number 30 largest economy. This is one, or this number one, number two are one. Where they are is number 37. Okay, 37 one become 30. Of course, Then current global competitors is number 27. They want to be number 12. Okay, masuk top 12. Then currently labor share of income is only 32%. They want to grow to 45%. Women participation 56% to 60%. I think corruption, that's the one that really impact. I think you can read the human development. You notice currently there have been a lot of political downfall on the former prime minister. The former prime minister as well as Tun Daim, right? They always say that Tan Sri and Tun will not be investigated, but it sort of has changed in here. And currently our standing is at 61. We want to be in top 25, so they have to chop. They have to catch all the big ikan jerung, and that's why you see what we see. So it's really part of the grand goal of the Madami government that Anwar is heading into. So you can see that 61 to 21, that's a big leap they want to be, but we do not know how many years, depending. So if he has 2022 4 year 2026, we may get very close to top 25. Even if we get to top 50 or go up to top 40, I'm actually very happy. What do you think of these grand goals that Anwar, Prime Minister of Malaysia, has? Okay, and of course, number 7, give me your thoughts, put it into the overview in there. And also the physical deficit GDP, right? We are at 5.6, which means the more negative, much worse off. We want to move to -3, which is previously in the old government in 2018 when Prime Minister Anwar together current Prime Minister and also the ex-Prime Minister Mahathir came in under the Pakatan Harapan government, but within a year they got dissolved and then came in the Perikatan Nasional in here. So the target has always been the -3% of the GDP. But let's look at the real truth. All right, the real truth is it actually takes a long time for economic reforms ahead of many obstacles. We can see there's also a political rivalry in here to bring down the current Prime Minister government in here. So you can see from that, it takes some time and it really takes hard work, just not a lot of messaging. And I think the current, what I've read and understand is that they're investigating into the so-called spending by the previous 2 government, including Muhyiddin and also the another Prime Minister, I can't remember off my head in here, about the spending about 150 million in promoting the previous government. And I do think that in many ways Madami government also use that kind of money to spend and give this message out to the people. But remember, the truth is it takes a long time to do economic recovery. You can see here pretty much we're still down in the minus deficit. You can see here minus 5.6, which is where we are, 6.4 here. We're trying to move it back to 3 is within 2025. It's possible. I'm not saying it's not, but let's see that in here. And now let's look at the analysts, the economists or analysts. They even have grandeur goals, okay, I have to admit. Again, the same paper here, you can see all the research house for 2024, which is the end of the year. Now do take note, for the 29th of December, our closing was 1455. And if you take all the average, they are looking at 1621. Okay, 1621 in here, whether it is Hong Leong, Maybank, Philip, Rakuten, M-Bank, Mercury, all them. And this is really a good sort of a right read-through among who are bullish, who are not. Now, if you look at it, the average upside that we are looking at is about plus 11% upside. So this is on the basis that we think that foreign funds decided that, hey, they have enough of Japan and Nikkei, which went up 28%. Maybe we're going to put a bit of money to the emerging market. That's the scenario I'm painting. Then we will get this 11% upside because the rally for the small cap stock has already started. You can see some of the stocks, KJB has already gone up. It may go a bit higher, but do take note of the profit as the market moves. Good evening, Nora. Thank you again. Thank you for your support in here. And then if you look at the other analysts, the 1454 from M Invest, that is the lowest so-called year-end target for the KLCI, and the high side is from CGS, which is up almost 20% and 6%. Again, these are very, very grand goals, just like a Madani government, but I'm just not sure that it can be achieved within this year. Now why I want to bring back the reality where we are in the market. Now, on the scenario that we have this big so-called foreign funds coming in, where they got enough of Nikkei, or even Korea was up about 23% this year in here, then we will probably see this thing flowing. But in reality, if you look back the last year, right? Now remember in 2012, the KLCI market was doing well, but I only have projection up to the last 8 years. You can see on average, the yearly return is actually in the negative. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 out of 6, 7, 8. 6 out of 8 is actually negative return. And that's not very good. So on the premise that we have a very good year where our recovery is fantastic, whatever you see, that maybe we get 11%. But the fact is, right, I think the probability of hitting any of target profit is very, very low. Now, I just want to share with you, if you do your maths, let me just bring this out here, right? This, okay, and if you bring this out, so the mathematics behind 1455 times 4 or 5%, where does that take us? Which means it will take us to one of these analysts, 1545. This is 6%. So 5% will definitely be lower than that. 1500 level only. That's how much that it is likely. Because bear in mind, the apple, as I said before, don't fall too far away from the tree. When apple drop, they drop there. Or durian in the case lah, in Malaysia. Kalau durian jatuh pun, it cannot drop like tiga batu away or 3 kilometer away. It's always going to be within that time frame. So you look back in the past, how far has it dropped? So all of a sudden, you say now can drop 6% upside or up to plus 20%. Mana boleh? So we already have to look at the reality of the thing. So I do think that around 1520, that's where you want to start to take some profit already. Okay, so same thing to those of you who are trading for the year 2024 and 2023. Later on, I'll share you some results in here, maybe in the future presentation. That is where we are talking about. Think short term. For the Malaysian market, you have no choice. You have to think short term. Take care of your own target profit. And if you have to cut loss, please cut loss. Get the knowledge. Get the VSA 360 tools. And of course, our own members who are already using it, thank you for your support. I do think that some of the things I said, which I do talk about it in length on our yesterday live trading, will make a lot of sense as you pair together with the macroeconomics that I talk about in here. Now, even if you look at Hong Kong, which is really one of the big so-called developed economy, also suffer under the China so-called economic reform, and we see that. So Hang Seng has sort of deemed very, very close, correlated to the Shanghai index. And again, last year was one of the worst performing year, 4 consecutive losses in a row. Malaysia is 3 consecutive losses in a row in here. So that it's really been a really bad year. And 2019 was only a better year. 2018 also dropped. And we can also say that every time when US fall, Hong Kong also kena. And when US go up, Hong Kong cannot, because they are impacted by the Shanghai index. So as I said before, a couple of years ago, few people who put their money in Hong Kong, I said that, going forward, unless there is a change in the CCP party, the regime, whatever they do right now on the property reform, it will be a very, very slow. And to my knowledge, if there's nothing much done about it, and we did see the recent debacle that we saw on the Tencent and also NetEase, the gaming sector, which also took a hit. They say yes, all right, we're going to ban some of these, and then when the market fall, they say no, right, they're going to come back again. And this gives a very bad impression for many of the investors that they wanted to shift out. And that's what we've been seeing right now for the Hang Seng market in here. Now, let's look at the crystal ball. The crystal ball. We always want to see the crystal ball, isn't it? Right? The crystal ball. But of course, we don't look at my crystal ball. Let's look at some of the more famous analysts, because my take for many parts of 2024 will be a trading year. You see the VSA setup, the trade is good. The reward to risk is good. Use the VSA 360 visual trading plan that we talk about, and we also touch base on our live trading. Do those for your trading. I think you're much better off in here, and commissions are cheap. So you look at the from the sector, okay, which is the StarBiz, 30th of December 2023. We have a slew of very top stock picker, fund manager, analysts sharing their idea which counter to really buy in here. And this is what they have, okay. So if you're coming back to relook into this video, or maybe right now, grab your camera and take a snapshot of some of the picks, which is from these analysts from MIDF, Afin Huang, MHA, Areka Capital, Rakuten, and TradeView. These are some of the stock. Of course, it doesn't really make sense, because unless we put through a layer of what we call the VSA 360 as well as the SmartRobie ratings in here, then it makes a lot of sense. Now, if you look at this, Gamuda is 14 times, really benefiting a lot from the construction and project, which many people have talked before. Year 2024 is similar to year 2023, where we see a lot of infrastructure building. MRT3 will be completed, the electrification or maybe Gemas to Singapore, the high-speed railway, the ECRL, right? And that is sort of also prompted today a lot of the property sector started to pick up and run. Remember, we still have this loan, very high loan in Malaysia, and so it becomes really a more of a trading team than anything else. So if you look at this, you got also some of them, which is the EV play, which is 43 times. You have Genting Malaysia putting on the recovery of the China market and also giving the free visa. We have the so-called medium to the low cost tourists from China coming in, and that will definitely benefit for Genting Malaysia. But it's not cheap. Having said that, it's 29 times PE, all right? And you can see Volatility is 282 times PE in here, all right? With also not making money. Ereka, okay, it's better. They look for 9 times PE, but with a 4-star rating, and AMB is 7.7. So PE, the lower the better. Lower the better. Means it's cheaper lah. Okay, cheaper means not expensive lah. Okay, so that one to me, ETA is 9 times, but you can see Robie rating only 1, so 4 out of 6. That's why you can see Robie rating already done many of our work for you already. So if you look in here, many of the stocks that picked by the so-called, these are growth stocks. Let me just pull this again. Okay, and so these are all growth stocks. And the question you ask yourself, is our country economy growing or not? Okay, right? And you can see Gamuda have to go to Singapore, have to go to Australia to get projects. So it really have to look back into this. And not that easy. So when you buy some of these shares in here, the compounding underlying is important. Why you want to buy growth shares? I think based on the background that we see in Malaysia, it's better to be conservative, buy what we call a fair value share. I think Areka got it well there. Areka, Yinsun and AMB, those are the two. But remember, Yinsun is on the energy sector and AMB is on the finance sector in here. Now, if you go back, why do they pick this? It's because they did go up a fair bit. Like you can see, Gamuda went up year-to-date gain. The past 2023, it's up 23% in 2023. Samadin is up 42%, and maybe that's why it gains the attention of many of the investors who look for. Especially if you're untrained, you generally want to see stock that is going higher because you come from a perception that the trend is likely to continue. But we know, right, the seasonality for the last 6 years we have in Malaysia, dia tak jalan, friend. Today, the only thing supporting is the theme of the construction in here. Genting is up 5%, so this one not too bad. Volatility is up 50%. AMB is up 2%, Yinsun is up 3.7%, ITA, despite the high rating, is only up 1%, and PBA, TradeView, is up 98%. So anything that go up 100%, generally on the water utility of the Penang one, you can see Saukon la, Suma, all this Tali water, all sudah jalan already because of the water utility in here. So I don't think any chance of it. And if you've been as long as in the stock market like me, you will see many of these 2024 will go through profit taking already. You must help take your profit if you can. Those of you who are trading the medium term and the longer term. If I say what did this make sense, give me a thumbs up in here, because some of these stocks has already overrun just looking at the past 2023 gain in here. Okay, so gains has already been priced in. Now, if you look at the MIDF, another analyst report, Malaysia Equity Researcher, this one is not bad. Okay, now I apologize, you can't see it, so let me just move this over here a bit. All right. Yeah, I think use my rating better than their rating now. Okay, so you can see from here. Okay, move it up in here so I don't block you my head. So you can see Tasco, we have Marsing. Again, Tasco is logistic, Marsing is property, Gamuda is engineering. Okay, you got Sunway, engineering, construction, property, construction, utility, property, technology, and Westport. All right, these have a lot of buy call in here, but I would like you to pay it into the PE ratings as well as the StarBiz ratings. Now, if you look from here, which one you can really look at, those are which at least low PE and stock rating that is the highest. All right, so I prefer anything that's 4 and above. This one is okay also. Matrix, Sunway Construction, okay. This one AA. This one too expensive. This one most expensive one, 137 times. If you cannot even achieve the kind of quarterly return, you cannot hit, the stock will come back down. Then you got Westport in here. All right. So here's my take in here. Whenever you choose any stocks, especially when you see it on the paper, and if you want to have some sort of fundamental here, just look at the SmartRobie ratings in here. Choose anything that is 4 and above, and that will put you in a right spot in here. So what are the stocks that I like in the longer term? As I said before in here, right, I'll probably add one more is Suncon, is Matrix, Yinsun, Westport, and Tasco. So now let's look into these charts that we have here. Okay, let's look at the charts that we have here, and we want to see where the stocks is. Okay, all right, this was PBA, and we are looking previously. Just that. Wonder why TradingView now is so slow. All right, if not, I'm just going to go to the Westport chart that I have here. Okay, yep, it's coming up right now. So we can put two stocks on top of each other. Now, if you notice, PBA already shot up that much. This was as of 29, and usually things go up like that. Within 1 or 2 months, it's going to come back down already. Okay, Tasco is coming up from a very low ground base. Just wait for the green pentagon if you have a chance within here. So Tasco. Next is Suncon. Okay, I like also Suncon. Suncon is at $2 here. All right, so let me put it over here, Suncon, because I want to see the year to date. So you can see year to date for Suncon was 29% in here. All right, 29%. Still a lot of project in here, right? And it's 29%. The market may pull back a bit here, right? So just take note in here. Westport. Westport, I like the share, pays a very good decent dividend in here. Why am I switching to Westport OTC? I shouldn't. Westport. The response time is very slow. Okay, Westport here, and you can see year to date up is only about 1%, and the market has sort of moved up a fair bit. So this one pays a pretty good decent dividend. Check it out on SmartRobie or the VSA 360. And what we have the other one, Tasco, Yinsun, and also Matrix. These are the stocks that actually pay very decent dividend. Okay, let's look at Matrix. You can see matrix is still on a nice uptrend in here, switching back over here where I can get the year to date, right? You can see matrix year to date is about 19% in here and continue to move up in here. Wait for a bit pullback, but I do think that these are the stocks that is still not in the of the radar of the big fund manager that we talk about. These are from the MIDF and they are much smaller in scales, and I think those are, is it Martin Nora asked, possible to hold to Chinese New Year? Yes, continue to hold to Chinese New Year. I do think that the small cap rally, you can see the small cap rally, FBMSC, okay, small cap stock there already, you see, boom, went new roof, right? 1 2 3 4 5 only today finally broke out. So all these are even revenue, you see, right? So, which to me, you know, smart money has gathered and they really pushed through it today, 21%, you know, in one day. Southcorn also same thing. Okay, all these have been holding up. Fresh fund comes in, they're just going to push it up, and then they're going to be start distributing. So if you look at that, FBM 70, which is the mid cap stocks, all started to push up. You can see, right? Just broke through, right? And this one broke through on the 15th of December. So you can see small cap stock move first, then mid cap stock, then finally the large cap stock. And this is going to continue likely to Chinese New Year. But I do think that before Chinese New Year, take some off. Don't rally into off Chinese. But again, look into the sign of weakness. And of course, every Wednesday and every Monday, I'll be updating our members, and Nora is also one of our members in here. So those are the stocks for the longer terms. So keep in mind, including the Suncorp. So for most analysts, year 2024 will be a year of rally. Right now, we already started to see that, all right? And that's why one of the things I wanted to cover for is the so-called what to expect in the coming months or quarter in here. So a lot of the analysts will be banking on construction, right? The technology will be plus, miss and minus, not that, right? Because construction is very unique to Malaysia. So the market continue to rally in the shorter term, take your profit, but as you go higher, buy less of this one in here. So the property sector will find the trickling effect from the construction sector, because many of the coming themes that you hear on the paper, when you read on the media, will be on this. 2024, something what we saw in 2013 when we built a lot of infrastructures in here, and sometimes you just ask yourself where we got the money, right? We told you before, right? That's why you can see some of these will be borrowing from the future, right, and doing it today. And you can see eventually the depth level that we have is going to be hard. So on the shorter terms, a lot of positive news, but if you look very deeply, the truth is many of this will take time to actually do it. Now let's ponder into what's really happening right now in the US market. Last night we saw one of the biggest downgrade by a heavy major tech, which is also part of the Magnificent Seven. Those of you who watched me last Wednesday, I think 2 Wednesdays ago, before we knock off for Christmas, we're away for Christmas, I talked about the Magnificent Seven, where some of these stocks can do no wrong. But again, many of these stocks, Microsoft, Apple, Tesla, is already red Pentagon. So you already been informed some of these already undergoing through profit taking already. So it's no surprises that the market drop. It's just that this drop is bigger because the downgrade by one of the strategists, I think Tim Long was with the Barclay. It talks about the weakness in the sales of iPhone and Mac. But do take note, on the 25th of January, right, big important date is Apple's quarterly earnings. Okay, earnings, EPS. So remember, 24th January is also big also. This is also the Taiwan election. Wow, many big day, right? And then you have the 10th February, Chinese New Year. Okay, Taiwan election, Chinese New Year rally. Okay, Chinese. So you can see these dates are all compounding. So if Apple earning came in within expectation, because now the market already going through profit taking, right? So if the result is good, 25th, you'll pick up and run, and then depending who wins favorably, the 24th January, right, then this will rally and push up until 10th of February. We already see first day today, the third day, the 3rd of January, we see the small cap stock and the 70 stocks already run. So if you look at this, one of the reasons why this big fall is the worst in 2 decades. All right, this is from Bloomberg, where we saw many occasions, one of the worst in 2 decades. We haven't seen this for a very long time. The last time we had it was 2016, where the market fall, SBA first day by performance. So this TLT, okay, S&P 500 fall. TLT is the long-term bond or TLT ETF, okay. Oh yeah, you can't see it, sorry, I apologize for that one, but just keep in mind, today fall is one of the biggest in the US market, which is the 2nd of January. And tonight, I understand, right now I was watching the US S&P 500 continue to fall too. So, but let's put into perspective in the longer time frame. I paint the calendar of the major event, or you already in 2024. Look back in that slide in here, take photo of it if you need to. At least that will give you a timing, how you want to time your performance. Tom Lee is one of the Sifu I follow from Fundstrat. He is a permanent bull. Let's keep in mind, permanent bull like Jim Rogers is permanent bear. All right, so right now if the bull comes out, right, he will talk about bear. Same thing with Robert Kiyosaki. He's a permanent bear too, right? These people, but a permanent bull, you have to be careful. When they get it right, this fellow will right. So one of the things that his company does a bit of research, and you can pick it up from one of the articles, talks about 2024, which is the election year. All right, later on I'll talk about the election year, US election in here, which is very important. This is where we're coming off from the parabolic gains. Parabolic gains. Usually parabolic gains that we see for the PBA, for the KGB, for the Apple, all will go to pullback. So for our members who's watching, learn how to trade on the pullback in there. All right. Hi, Rosmadi. Okay. So once you learn that, that is good. So he is saying that if the election year, right, after a 10% gain, because last year we got 13% for S&P 500. Okay, ES1, I call it because I'm so used to future. So whenever you have that, the blue line is likely to be the election year. So what he's saying that the pullback will start from February to March, right? But it looks like it already started. So the pullback will start from February to March, and then April will pick up. May will pull back a bit. That's where we have sell in May and go away. But generally, the June month still pick up until we get November. This is where the weakest month, October, September. This will be the weakest. Rewatch this again, and then November it will kicks up, and then the market will push through to end of year, which is very similar to this year. Many takes is the year of 2024 will be a repeat of 2023, plus it's not going to go up that much, okay? Because in 2023, the Nasdaq went out a lot because of the generative AI, which again I talked about it last week in here, okay? So this is where we are heading for. It will still be a positive year. So he also shared with some of the challenges. Now take note of these challenges from thing in here. The stock market has priced in 6 interest rate cut. But the US FOMC Jerome Powell only cakap 3 saja. 3 interest rate cut, maybe one in May, April, then one in June, and maybe one September, right? It all depends on the CPI figures that I'll talk about it every week on the Wednesday night talk. I'll talk about inflation. That's the one in here. So keep into mind in here. So if there is no 6 rate cuts, you can see the market's going to fall back, right? But usually I think the market will be disappointed. That's why we are looking for still a double-digit return for the US market in here. For our KLCI market, it's always going to depend whether the foreign funds decided that they have enough of Japan and Korea, they'll move their money to merging market, then Malaysia dapat lah. Else tak dapat ni. That's all I'm trying to say, okay? Then the other concern is the generative AI that we see right now is not so hot because there's a lot of AI controversy lah. Some replace human or replace labor jobs, those kind of things. If you don't pick up as much as it is, or it's just a ball or BS, then you'll see a lot of AI stocks will also take a hit. Now, from now to so-called November, right, expect 2 to 3 major pullback, all right, which is more than 5%, especially right now in the January and February. I think right now it's coming in here, and we will see that, okay? So Tom Lee said that it will start in February, but I think it will start right now. You can start usually all move faster than it is. So that's why we have to learn to read the chart and anticipate ahead of time. Then the last one is the mention of recession by big economists or big permanent bear who have a profounding example. If US FOMC said that recession can be controlled, then there's a put. But he said that recession may be possible, or any of the US Fed FOMC so-called members said about it in here, or the big economists, then you will see the market will take a hit. But remember, Tom Lee also said any of those pullback less than 5%, the market will go in and mop up because of one fact. And now let me share with you the data fact. This is because the market has a lot of cash. Now, this is a very good point why US market can go higher. It is a record of 6 trillions. Now, if you look at it, money market funds are reporting on the 28th, other 5.9 million, just on top of my head here. That's a lot of money, you know, right? So 5.9 million has to go somewhere. If the stock market is going up, like me, permanent bear, anticipating that market's going to go down, don't you think any pullback, they will go in and buy one? Yes, that's right. But the market will go higher. So that's why it's important for our members in here to understand in here where you are looking at. This record money will flow. So again, they will flow to US. Some of them will flow to emerging market. If they get tired of Korea and Japan, they're going to come to Malaysia. They will come to Malaysia, but remember, they come to emerging market. Emerging market got Thailand, got Indonesia, got Singapore, got Vietnam, all fighting for the breadcrumb only. Right? That's the whole point. And Malaysia is number 4 in terms of market capitalization after Singapore, after Thailand, after Indonesia, barulah Malaysia. Then below Malaysia is Philippine market. So we are never in the so-called the big down of the emerging market. That's how it is right now in here. So remember, this 6 trillion will be fuel to the stock market, just like, you know, the current crash that we saw in the JAL plane with the US Coast Guard. A lot of fuel, right? What happened when fuel pour into the fire? Boom. And that's what we're going to be seeing for 2024 in here. The money is like a fuel in here. So what's ahead of the US market in 2024? Now, if you look back in here, you can see every year, whenever there's a bad year, the market will recover 3 years. One good year, bad year, recover. So this one is just currently in here. So I think it's going to become positive, right? And you can see this is the Nasdaq. You also have the S&P. Okay, one bad year, 3 year, good. So one bad year, you're going to have probably 2 to 3 years. And remember, 2024 is the US presidential election. Okay, election in here. And US election generally will have a very positive year, averaging also double digit. Okay, double digit in here. And if you look into it, right, it's still in good shape. And don't forget, the 2022, all right, we have the year of dragon. Okay, let me just put in here, you can't see it, but I will tell you this is 16% for the last time when the year of dragon 2012 also up. And if you look at Nasdaq, was 16% also up in 2012. All right, so that means the year of dragon is still looking good. All right, yep, Nora, ada rezeki untuk makan. Yes, okay. But this time, buy more than one packet of nasi lemak. Bayar sikit. Okay, so the year of dragon will definitely be a good year in here. And again, it's the fight between these two old men in the room, right? They are older than I don't have any more grandfather lah. My father, mother also no longer around. So those of you who have grandfather and grandmother, they're going to be older than you guys. So these are the two person who's going to be fighting, and they're still fighting right now on the TV. And you can see in terms of poll ratings, Trump is ahead. But at the end of the day, if Trump been convicted for the 91 charges, which two of those charges will put him to 4 or 5 years, right? And then you will see a big turmoil in US. Nobody know what's going to happen, whether there's going to be a domestic civil war, which is going to happen, we yet to know right in here. But this year, 2024, that's why I say just before the November election, the September, the August, the October month, that's the more interesting month that we will be seeing, where the market will dip below. Ladies and gentlemen, be bold, don't fear, right? And I still think that at the end of it, depending on the charges and how many years Trump will be convicted in here, the Democrat candidate may come out as Trump in here, all right? So if you look from here, let me just move aside. In terms of stocks, okay, the Democrats, which is the blue one here, averaging about 10%, whereas the Republicans is only 6% in here. And if you look into the election year, this is the Democrat, which is the light blue, the Republican candidates, 7.5% return, so even this is 2024, 2025, 26. So 2026 is actually the year that we'll see a weaker market in here, right? And then we have 2027. Of course, this is not considering any war that might happen. Like we're talking about the Taiwan. And depending how likely we will have a war in 2025 or 2026 between the China invading Taiwan. At this point, I don't think it is likely to happen, because China is weaker right now because due to the economic fallout. And remember that even the recent Tencent and ban on the gaming sector, as soon as the market fall, see what happened? The regulator came in and said, hey, no, we don't ban. So you can see a lot of flip-flop. Flip-flop is not good. So even the same thing, they want to invade, don't want to invade Taiwan, want to invade Taiwan. So it's a flip-flop. At the end, nothing happened one. So don't be fearful. I think it's more important to really understand the fact, and then on that basis, looking at the facts behind, and then go for it. And that's what our live Facebook Trade VSA intend to do. When you use this information to your benefits going into the months, refer back to this video and you'll see what I'll talk about in here. Of course, the global semiconductors will continue to recover, which is the positive technology in here. This is something, the 5G, the computer recovery, all this, all right, will push many of our local sector technology in here, which I did talk about in here. But at the end of the day, the Bursa may really take a hit in here. So if you're in Bursa, what are the other markets besides the US market in here? I'll give you a hint. Bitcoin. That's right. Now Bitcoin has come back into the mainstream in here just only, I think, November 2023, where it started to break through the 30,000 point in here. And one of the real reason why I'm getting back to interest is because the final regulatory, the financial regulatory, which is the stock exchange plus the SEC, has approved likelihood for ETF date, which is, I think, within this month, the next couple of days in here. And that's why it hit above the 45,000. The last high that it had was 67,000, and just the same thing with the Dow Jones in here. So if you're a long-term bull on your Bitcoin, hold on to it in here. It will take time. It will get there. I can see this is, once, but the question is, will it make through a U-turn after the approval date in here? Definitely there's a lot of opportunity to trade, and some of the trader who are our members use the VSA to trade the 4-hour or even the daily chart or the intraday chart for the Bitcoin. It works very well with the Pentagon Guider in here. So members, please take note of this one in here. Now, if you are more traditional and you don't like the kind of big wave, definitely you can put into the so-called Gold ETF. All right. Now I want to share with you Gold ETF. Very similar. But before we go to the Gold ETF, you can see every year there's a positive in here, plus over 100%. This was one of the highest. You can see went up in here in 2020. Then 2021 was still positive. Okay. But 2023 was the big drop. But 2024 was another recovery year. So I do think that, this is 2023. This is 2022, this is 2021. And I do think that 2024, they will retest back in here. It may be still a positive, but not as high what we see this year. Now, in terms of gold, very similar. Only year 2021 lost money. Okay, a little bit of money was made in 2022, but 2023 was a good year, a plus, I think 16% in here. So gold is definitely back in here, and I think many of you know why I like gold, because we have the 3 interest rate cuts, and remember, interest rate now in US is 5.5%. So every time where they cut 0.5%, of gold is going to move. Okay, get some gold ETF in here. It's not that difficult. All right, if you don't have, make sure you open an account with one of our partners, which is USmart SG, and use our invitation code, and you'll get credit 400 in here. I think that's really one of the ways you want to diversify out. All right, if once the Bitcoin ETF is out, you can also get into the ETF in the US market. You don't have to buy through our so-called Bitcoin exchanges. Many ways to diversify in here, and ETF certainly. So the 3 critical investor sector for Malaysia 2024, repeat here, finance sectors, I mentioned it last week, construction, technology will be the 2 main theme in here. And of course, our ringgit likely to strengthen also due to the US FOMC looking to cut interest rate in here. And 4.4, we are already 4.62, did test the 4.5, right? So whether they'll go to beyond and lower 4.4 is yet to be seen. So again, a crisis that we see, right? That we see the big fall right now that we're seeing in the US market, the downgrade in the Apple. Is it a crisis? Is it an opportunity? You decide in here. All right, okay. But more importantly, learn to buy the charts. Learn how smart money manipulate the market based on greed, using sign of weakness in here. The VSA definitely is a great tool. Those of you using the VSA 360, definitely our members can claim to that in here. And again, our summary pretty much will be the same. The Middle East conflict will definitely add volatility. AI semiconductors will be the one pretty much move in here. But take note, if the January AI is a lot of controversy, then you probably have a lot of pullback on the tech stocks. It's good to also diversify out into other sectors like I talked about just now. Fed cuts, anticipate the first one in here. So the question is, start planning your strategy right now. It's only the 3rd of January in 2024, and with the right strategy, I think you will definitely do well. And definitely one of the better way is to join our members. Our member VSA 360 has the 6-month mentorship. You can see we've done pretty well, like our members doing the trading with our every week live training in here being guided. You can see our members perform pretty well in here with the good win rates, doing much better than me. Actually, they are more hardworking than me, while myself was just more background preparing them to engage them to trade like a professional. If you want a shortcut way to be a good trader, definitely be our member and join our Trade VSA in here. And of course, don't forget to join our breakfast show every Monday and Friday. And this is a USmart. If you don't have an account yet, let me just go back to the slide. And cheap commission, use this code VYVJPA and open up account, and many benefits, including fractional trading too. All right, you are still eligible for our Christmas season, our SmartRobie trading bag, 15 ringgit 90, but you can deduct from your SmartRobie point. Give us a support. We appreciate that if you get our bags in here and support our channel in here to be continued vibrant and able to deliver good information, education material you have. And don't forget to share this stock market information that we have. I do hope that tonight the what to expect for the stock market part 2 together with part 1 that we did just during the Christmas will give you a good drill down to what to expect and so-called tap into my brain what I see that market and able to help you in here. All right, I wish you all the best for the oncoming months of 2024. The Chinese New Year rally has begun, and start trading the market. So that's all we have for tonight. Thank you again, and without the constant support of our member as well as you out there, our audience, we will not be here. We thank you again, and good night. I'll see you on Friday for our breakfast show. Thank you again, and good night.